There's been so much information about slips, trips, and falls that many people are no longer paying attention. Slips and falls were the major causes of injuries in the early days of safety. There are cases where people were deliberately pushed downstairs. There have been a wide range of accidents in the workplace from every conceivable cause, even including running into doors or doors running into people. Jumping from elevated surfaces has caused quite a few injuries. Every type of slip and fall, from ladders and slippery floors to debris on the floor or working surfaces, and no improvement is noticeable. With today's technology, injury statistics demonstrate where we went wrong, and even with excellent safety and health departments, we still experience slip and fall incidents. What's the magic bullet? New floor surfaces, state-of-the-art shoes. What's the answer? We believe the answer is more training, and then everyone accepts responsibility for working and acting safely. Who would have thought of that? Let's take a look at how we're going to approach this program today. First, we want to review some of the ways people trip and fall. Secondly, we want to review basic prevention techniques. Thirdly, we like to encourage you to get on the safety bandwagon for preventing slips, trips, and falls. When you think of ladders, uneven surfaces, and of course slippery surfaces such as water, ice, and grease, you can visualize the cause of accidents. OSHA states that about 35% of the majority of workplace accidents are caused by slips, trips, and falls. When you think about it, falls can cause severe injuries such as broken hands and arms, back injuries, strains to muscles and ligaments, and even death. Slips, trips, and falls happen when working with ladders, platforms, and heights. Nothing good can come from slips, trips, or falls. Remember, these types of accidents have been around for a long time, so it's nothing new. However, there is a new concentrated effort to eliminate slips, trips, and falls. About 60% of falls are a result of slips and trips. The remaining 40% are falls from heights, falls from ladders, roofs, and stairs, or from jumping to a lower level require attention. Slips happen when there's too little friction or traction between footwear and the walking surface. Common causes of slips are wet or oily surfaces, occasional spills, weather hazards, loose or unanchored rugs or mats, and flooring or other walking surfaces that do not have the same degree of traction in all areas. Trips happen when your foot collides by striking or hitting an object, causing you to lose your balance and then falling. Common causes of trips are obstructed view, poor lighting, clutter in your way, wrinkled carpeting, uncovered cables, bottom drawers not being closed, uneven steps, and walking surfaces. A trip occurs when a person's foot comes in contact with an object that's in their way or drops to a lower level unexpectedly, causing them to be thrown off balance. A slip occurs when there is too little traction or friction between the shoe and walking surface. A fall occurs when you're too far off balance. Both slips and trips result from some kind of unintended or unexpected change in the contact between the feet and the ground or walking surface. This shows that good housekeeping, quality of walking surfaces or flooring, selection of proper footwear, and appropriate pace of walking are critical for preventing fall accidents. Reduce trips by always using installed light sources that provide sufficient light for your task. Using a flashlight if you enter a dark room where there's no light. Ensuring that things you're carrying or pushing do not prevent you from seeing any obstructions or spills, etc. The first and most important level of preventing falls due to slips and trips is good housekeeping, which include clean all spills immediately, mark spills in wet areas, mop or sweep debris from floors, remove obstacles from walkways and keep free of clutter, securing mats, rugs, and carpets that don't lay flat. Always close file cabinet and storage drawers. Cover cables that cross walkways. Keep work areas and walkways well lit. Replace used light bulbs and faulty switches. Without good housekeeping practices, any other preventive measures such as installation of special flooring, appropriate footwear, or training in walking and safe falling will never be fully effective. In workplaces where floors may be oily, wet, or if workers spend considerable time outdoors, prevention of fall accidents should focus on selecting proper footwear. Since there's no footwear with anti-slip properties, consulting a shoe manufacturer is highly recommended. Proper fitting footwear increases comfort and prevents fatigue, which can improve safety for the employee. It's important to remember that safety is everybody's business. However, it is the employer's responsibility to provide a safe work environment for all employees. The most important protection is to wear the proper footwear for your work and environment. In most occupations, the shoes or boots should provide three major types of protection. The soles and heels should be slip-resistant. The toe of the shoe should resist crushing injuries. The shoe should support the ankle. Leather covering the foot and ankle portion of the foot is preferred in most work environments. However, when working in wet environments or around chemicals, oils, greases, or pesticides, boots made of polyvinyl chloride, PVC, a blend of PVC and polyurethane or neoprene should be used. Rubber is satisfactory for wet conditions, but not with pesticides or petroleum products. In addition to wearing the wrong footwear, there are specific behaviors which can lead to slips, trips, and falls. Walking too fast or running can cause major problems that can lead to slips, trips, and falls. Distractions, not watching where one is going, carrying materials which obstruct view, wearing sunglasses in low-light areas, and failure to use handrails. These and other behaviors caused by a lack of knowledge, impatience, or bad habits developed from past experiences can lead to falls, injuries, or even death. Makeshift ladders, chairs, boxes, and barrels should never be used as substitutes for a ladder. The risk of injury is far too great. Death or serious injury is a frequent result of extra riders falling from tractors, equipment, or the bed of a truck. The safe way is no riders. Practice the three-point system. This system can significantly reduce the chances of injuring yourself through a slip or fall while climbing ladders or while entering or exiting a vehicle. The three-point system means that 3 of your 4 limbs are in contact with the ladder or vehicle at all times, either 1 hand and 2 feet or 2 hands and 1 foot. Only 1 limb is in motion at any time. When getting off the bed of a truck or wagon or any similar level, step down backward, never jump or fall down forward. Stairwells should be well lighted with sturdy handrails on both sides. Persons using the stairwell should have 1 hand free to be able to use the handrail. All the steps should have the same rise and depth with visible edges. They must be kept free of grease, oil, and obstacles which could cause slips and trips. Whenever possible, avoid carrying heavy or bulky objects which obscure your vision and/or require the use of both hands. Carry smaller, lighter loads and make more trips, or obtain help with the load. Ladders cause a great number of injuries. Of course, we all know to never stand on the top 2 steps of a stepladder. That's just too dangerous and causes an unsafe shift in the center of gravity of the ladder. Don't lean past the rails of the ladder, as this creates instability. We call this the belt buckle rule. Don't lean past your belt buckle for safety. Naturally, don't use a metal ladder when working on or near electricity. There is a great risk of electrocution or getting a shock that could throw you off the ladder. With straight ladders, you may recall the old 4-to-1 ratio for setting up straight ladders. To be honest, that's old school safety and falls short of a way to ensure that the ladder is properly set up for safety. There are 3 basic requirements for extension ladder setup. First, the top of the ladder must extend 3 feet or 3 rungs above the point of contact to the structure. Secondly, it must be set up at the precise angle of 75.5 degrees to provide the proper angle for climbing. Again, the 4-to-1 ratio makes this difficult to achieve, but it's critical to have the correct angle. An extension ladder angle verification device, such as featured in the Safety Climb Company ladder and anti-fall systems, is recommended to achieve this angle with accuracy. Let's face it, without a verification device, how do you know that your angle is correct? Workers at high elevations, such as ladders, platforms, or catwalks, should be protected from falling by some kind of fall protective device. This can be a protective cage, a lifeline, lanyard, safety belt, or harness. There are numerous devices on the market. The system should provide maximum protection, but it should also be reasonably comfortable and not restrict a worker's necessary work activity. Suppliers of safety equipment can provide information on the correct system for your workplace and should provide instruction on its safe use. Safety signs to remind people of slip, trip, and fall hazards are certainly always helpful, particularly where hazards cannot be removed or corrected. Such signs should be changed frequently. Yellow striping to identify walking and working areas are most effective if their meaning is enforced. Striped areas should mean that no object should be placed in these areas. Dropped and spilled material should be removed immediately. Established policies and practices can be implemented to significantly reduce the number of injuries and deaths due to slips, trips, and falls. Much like being a defensive driver to avoid accidents, one must also be a defensive walker to avoid slips, trips, and falls.